Okay, we're in volume 8 of the Bible story. Um, these blue books, set of 10 that I got, that are 70 years old, they may have not been open for 50 years because they're so the pages may stick together. Okay, and we're at part 1, story 9, Lepers Cleansed. Do you ever stop to think that though Jesus was always mixed? Okay, rewind. Do you ever stop to think that though Jesus was always mixing with the sick people, he never got sick himself? Tired, yes, but not sick. We never read of his having mumps or measles or chickenpox or anything like that. He was the fountain of life, pouring forth health, strength, and happiness to others. I am come that they may have life. He said once, and that is what he was giving away all day long, every day. That is why people flocked to him by hundreds and thousands. They all wanted to be well and strong. And here was someone who knew the secret. Better than any doctor, he was able to cure the worst disease, and quickly too. No sickness seemed too hard for him, not even leprosy. In those days, nothing had frightened people more than the thought of catching this dreaded disease. Those who had caught it had to leave their homes and village and live with other lepers whenever they could find shelter. And there they gradually got worse and worse until they died. One day a leper, seeing Jesus in the distance, forgot all the rules about staying away from other people and came running towards him. Go away, I can hear the bystanders crying as they moved back, scared to death. Get out of here, you leper, you're unclean. But Jesus did not move. Instead, he stood there looking down in tender pity upon the poor sick man, now on his knees before him. If you will, you can make me clean, cried the leper, and the cry came out of his heart. Then what do you suppose Jesus did? He touched the leper, saying, I will be clean. He could have merely spoken to him, but he did more. He touched him. People around must have been shocked. They wouldn't touch a leper if all the money for all the money in the Roman Empire. One touch might have made them lepers too, which is true because it's very contagious. But Jesus was unafraid. Life poured from him into the poor leper, making him whole. The very moment Jesus spoke, the leprosy departed from him, and he was cleansed. Sometime later, when Jesus was passing through Samaria, he came across 10 lepers who stood afar off, afraid to come near to him. No doubt they had heard that he had healed other lepers, but they cried out at the top of their voices, Jesus, Master, have mercy on us. It was their one great chance for help, and they were not going to miss it. Jesus heard their cry and turned towards them. His heart of love was saddened by their pitiful plight. Go, show yourselves to the priest, he called to them. It was strange. It was a strange thing for him to say, but they understood. Yeah, because you're supposed to go to the priest who's a doctor, basically. No leper could ever come back into society unless the priest said they were cured. So what did Jesus had said meant they would be cured by the time they had got to the priest. They looked at Jesus they took Jesus at his word and started off. No doubt they kept looking at each other to see whether any change was taking place. And then it happened. Suddenly, all the honorable white spots on them disappeared. Their half-rotted flesh, that sounds kind of gross, don't it? And then it has a picture here, down here at the bottom, of these people, coming up to Jesus, or the artist rendering of what Jesus would possibly look like. Okay? Their half-rotten flesh became clean and whole. Their spoiled features were restored, just as they had been in the days gone by. I'm healed, cried one. So am I, cried another. And so am I, and I, cried the rest, as they all began running to the nearest place where a priest might be found. Jesus watched them go. Then, to his great joy, he saw one of them turn around and come back to him. Falling at Jesus' feet, this man, a Samaritan, cried, "Thank you, dear master, thank you." Jesus was pleased. It was good to find somebody so grateful. Turning to the people standing by, he said, "Were there not 10 cleansed? But there are the 9. But where are the 9? Why didn't they come back and say thank you too?" It shows that Jesus noticed things like this. Let us make sure that we thank him for all his goodness to us. And then it has the guy returning back, the Samaritan, turning back to Jesus, or the artist's representation in the story. While the other 9 run to find a temple, a synagogue, and find the nearest priest. Okay. And that was the end of part 1, story 9. And like always, it's time for the break. And then we'll be back here, and I'll be back in just a little bit.